Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition here on the Rock Pile Tonight. The Rock Pile Tonight brings you episode number 4 of the Beyond the Game podcast, where tonight I bring on a special guest of mine, my niece, Mikayla McPheron. She was the standout goalie, freshman goalie for the Moyne Dolphins. So we'll talk to her in just a little bit. If you're following me on Facebook, you're following me on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions for Mikayla tonight or for myself, just put them in the comment box and I'll try to pull as many over as I can here this morning. I'll let you know this weekend on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. It looks like we are going to do a show on Sunday morning. I will be doing a show on Thursday night. I'll be talking with RFA softball coach coming off fresh a Section 3 title yesterday. So I will talk to coach on Thursday night. I'll post that and much more. So without further ado, this is the reschedule. We were trying to do this the last time, but unfortunately my son's baseball game went much longer than I anticipated. So we had to reschedule the show. So without further ado, Kay, let me switch our screens here so we look nice and pretty tonight.
All righty.
Get you on here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm really excited because you have no idea what I'm going to ask you tonight.
No, I do not.
And I think the best part about it is the last time I had you on, I think it was when you made your commitment to attend Moyne. We talked a little bit about that. And I think you're going to be a really good guest, I think, for any young athlete that's listening to tonight's show. I think you'll have a lot of good messages on some of the issues, the health issues, right, that you had battling an injury through the season. So we'll get to that and much more. But I want to start with, so you guys finished up your season this year. I think you guys were 2-15-2, and I think you guys are 1-7-2 in the league, which the season didn't go as planned for you guys. But where I wanted to start with you tonight is take us back to the moment when you, and again, we had you on here when it was the Rock Pile, when you talked about your commitment to play soccer at Moyne. So I kind of want to go back in time, and I want to ask you, when you made the commitment to play soccer at Moyne at the Division I level, what'd that mean to you?
It meant a lot for me. I always wanted to go big in soccer, but honestly, I wasn't really looking at Division I's when I was going for my search for colleges. I just didn't really know like what to expect. And then I had lots and lots of long talks with my mom about her Division I career and obviously your Division I career. And I think I realized just how much soccer meant to me. So, yeah, and I'm so glad I made that decision to go to Division I because it's been amazing, and I just love soccer. So, yep.
And Kay, talk to us a little bit too, because I think for a lot of high school athletes that are out there, you know, you have Division I, you have Division II, you have Division III. And I always tell the young athletes today is if you're lucky enough to play even at a Division III level, because Division III level for any sport is really good competition, let alone at the Division I level. So I think my message has always been there's very few that can play at the Division I level. And there's different types of Division I, right? A lot of people think you got the Ohio States, you got the Michigans, and then, you know, you got that level Division I. And then you got a program like yourself where, you know, Moyne's just making that transition. So they may not have the NIL money that some of the other colleges may have, facilities and all that. But when you made that decision, I know you always talk about, and we joke with you about the transfer portal and all that, but you also like Moyne because you like the school, but you like being close to home, right? Being able to come and go as you please and coming to visit the family and all that. How much did that factor in?
It actually had a huge impact on my decision to go to Moyne. I mean, obviously, like you said, Moyne is like a lower end Division I, but I mean, it's still Division I. And I think the being close to family was super important because I always love when my parents are at my games, and when I have my home games, it's only 45 to 50 minutes away. So you guys were all able to come, and it just really helped it helped the transition to being a Division I athlete, and just having that support was my everything. So yeah, it had a huge impact.
What were some of the toughest parts for you, again, transitioning from the high school game? And I want to talk about the game first, but not just the physicality on your body as a goalie, but what were some of the biggest transition from playing high school soccer to the college level?
The competition, I mean, we played against Maine, Stony Brook, Binghamton. I mean, there's really no comparison. I did get a lot of shots during my senior year, but just the caliber of the athletes that were on all the teams that we played. I mean, it's just such a big difference. And it took me a bit of adjusting and, practicing and again, the support of my family to really, but I mean, it's really crazy just how big the difference is.
Now, how about the physical part for you on your body? I mean, being a goalie is physical in itself, and you battle through injuries, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But was there a huge difference from a physicality standpoint for you on the types of shots you face? Obviously, the shots probably were a lot more harder, faster, coming at you, but what was that like?
It was again like very different. There was games that I just like had ice bags all over my body. My trainer would always joke with me because after every game I'd come in there and I'd walk out with like 2 to 3 ice bags on my body because of how I faced a ton of shots during the season. And um yeah, like the players are very physical and stuff like that. So it definitely took a toll on my body, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was really fun.
So how do you adjust too? Because in high school you play X amount of games, and then you transition over to the college level too, right? I think you play more games in college than you do in high school, and you got to try to. I hate to say you got to try to rest your body, but again, your body is going through a much different type of schedule than what you went through in high
Mhm.
school. Talk to us a little bit about the schedule compared to what it was playing at the high school level.
So it was pretty different. I mean, our summer was obviously my summer got cut very short because of our preseason and we were into doubles and stuff like that. But I mean, we had games twice a week, and those games were pretty tough. The coaches, if I had a hard game, the coaches were pretty lenient, and the trainers to like pull me for a practice and just like kind of relax my body because of how physical it got. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a big difference. We, practice for 2 hours and we had lift and all this stuff. But yeah.
So let's jump right in this. You had the Stony Brook game where I think you had 16 saves and you set the single game school record for saves in a game with 16. Now, I don't know much about soccer. I'm still kind of learning this thing as Madison's playing, but I know that 16 saves is a lot. And for a team like yourself where you faced so many shots in that game, when during that game did it click that you had a lot of saves and like what was your mindset at one point in that game? Did you say to yourself, geez, I must have a lot of saves in this game. I've taken so many now I know you guys didn't win the game,
Yeah.
but what was that like? And did you know at some point in that game where you were setting a school record?
Honestly, I probably the first 5 to 10 minutes of that game was just straight shots on me, and I think that's where I racked up most of my saves, and I just remember being like, "Wow," like, I mean, it was shot after shot, like, I'd save the ball, punt it up the field, come back down, save the ball on a repeat cycle for maybe, like, 5 to 10 minutes straight, and I didn't really expect that I was gonna break a record. Like I was just kind of like, "Oh, this is a lot of shots," and then it wasn't until like the bus ride home I had saw that I actually broke a record, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense because of just how many shots I faced. And I mean, I will never forget the first 5 to 10 minutes. I think I was just like, it was crazy, like shot after shot. And as much as I remember it, I think I kind of went into like and I was just like everywhere, all over my 18-yard box. And again, like I wasn't really expecting to have as many saves as I had, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But
So, okay, take me
yeah.
back to your first official game in that. Like, what were you thinking? Like, what was the mindset? I mean, I remember my first game when I stepped onto the football field, and you look around and you say, "Geez, I'm actually, out here and playing a college sport." But like, what was it like for you when you stepped in your first game? Did it click to you saying, "Geez, I'm actually starting for a Division I team"?
Yeah, when I found out I was starting, I actually called my mom and I was like, I'm starting. And I was like really emotional because it was like I had worked so hard, but like I had finally saw the results and stuff. And when I stepped in net and the whistle blew to the start of the first half, I definitely was freaking out a little bit. And I think that's why. I mean, my first game was against Maine. My first ever Division I game was against Maine of all teams, and it was just such a surreal feeling. Like I'm actually I'm starting at the Division I level. Like it was really cool. It was a really cool experience, and I will never forget that game.
So,
But
okay, not many people know you played half the season with a broken hand, right?
mhm.
So number one, how did you do it? And then number two was, mentally for you, because again, I'm just going to give you my own take here. As a college athlete, even in high school, like if you get injured, somebody else has to play for you. Like if
Mhm.
you're out. And I was always under that mindset was if I came off the field and I was injured and somebody came in for me and they played really well, as a coach, the decision's got to be, well, the person I'm putting in for the person that got hurt's playing really well. I can't really make that change. Did that ever
Mhm.
cross your mind to where if you were hurt, which you can't control, you come out of the game and the person behind you steps in, plays well, that you could have lost your spot? Like, what was your mindset?
I mean, it definitely crossed my mind. I mean, I didn't know that it was broken the entire time, so I just kept playing. And I think, like, the pain never really stopped me because, again, I was like, I'm in this moment right now. I have this opportunity. I can handle the pain for right now. But I mean, it definitely crossed my head, and it's. But I definitely, I don't know. It was I definitely had to work extra hard in practices and stuff to, I mean, prove that I was okay. But yeah.
So how'd you do it? Do you remember the exact play you did and what team it was against?
Um, so I actually broke it in a practice. It was the game before, or it was the practice before Binghamton, and we were just going over like passing sequences with the forwards and stuff, and it was a 1v1, and my hand kind of went back and like to the side a little bit, and I was like, oh, that kind of hurt. So I got it taped. Thought it was fine because I've sprained my wrist many of times, and it kind of felt like that at first. So I taped it up, and then I just kept playing on it. But yeah.
So, okay, most athletes, I mean, some people deal with pain a little bit differently, and obviously, your pain tolerance is pretty high. But you could have shut it down, right? You could have came out and said, "My wrist hurts, my hand hurts. I don't know if I can go back in." Was there ever a moment in time when you thought you couldn't keep playing, that you were going to have to tap out?
There was definitely some moments where I was like, I remember a practice in specific, and we were doing shooting drill. We were doing a shooting drill, and I had to step off to the side and kind of like have my moment, and like, this is really painful, but I got ice afterwards, and it kind of subsided it. But I never really had the thought that like, oh, like this is an actual problem. Like I knew it was worse than what I was being told, but I was like, I'm going to keep playing. I need to keep playing. And in games, I didn't really notice it a lot. So I thought that that was like fine. So I just kept taping it. I iced it constantly and just kept checking in with my trainer, do the best that I could. But I never to that point where I was like, this hurts extra bad that I need to like sit out. So I don't know if that's a
So
good
I
thing
know,
or a
no,
bad thing, but
yeah, no, and I think what's always tough too is, so I mean, I battled it just about I had a horrible, unfortunate events where every year in college I missed spring ball due to injuries, and it was really hard to sit out and watch. And I know in your case, you missed some of the winter workouts, right? You missed spring workouts, and you just recently got cleared back, and now you're playing soccer over the summer. But what was it like for you to sit back and have to watch, and you
It
couldn't work
was
out? And I know you're a workout freak and you like to work out, but what was that like for you having to sit out?
It was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done because I've never sat out for that long. I mean, I broke my collarbone a very long time ago, but that was only like 3 months, 4 months, I think. I sat out for a total of like 7 months, and it was honestly really hard. But the good thing with my injury, obviously, since it's my hand, I still joined in with the running workouts we did. Um, I lifted with the team, but I just did like one arm stuff, or if I would squat, my 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 lifting coach was really good and like made adjustments for me. I tried to do the most that I could without obviously further injuring myself and not using my left hand at all, and that definitely helped, but it was always the hardest thing was I want to get back to being in net. I want to be back. But I just had to keep reminding myself that recovery is the most important thing, and if I recover now, I'm not going to have these problems in the past or in the future. And yeah, but it was definitely hard. There was a time where I couldn't work out at all, and that was tough. But again, I just had to keep looking towards the future and seeing that I'm gonna be good enough to play, and I just needed to be patient. But
How was your teammates with you throughout the whole time? Did any of your teammates kind of, keep pushing you along and encourage you, saying,
mhm.
"Hang in there," and things are going to get better? How was your teammates towards you?
Yeah, my teammates were awesome. I mean, when I couldn't lift and run, and I would still go to practices and sit on the side and cheer them on and stuff. And my teammates would there was this one time my teammate came over and was like, "You just look so sad at the workouts, but you're doing great. Like, I know you're going to get back stronger and better than you ever were." And it was just like they were awesome. They were definitely helped in the process of um, keeping my mindset positive and hopeful towards the future. But they were awesome.
Yeah, I think every athlete, when you go through an injury, I mean, you see it in the professional side of sports too, in colleges, that I think athletes come back stronger than what they were, the first time before the injury. And I know you came in great shape, for preseason, and you worked your butt off to get a starting spot. But what'd you learn about yourself? Sitting out, you probably had a lot of time to sit back and think and reflect on everything. What'd you learn about yourself through that whole time?
I honestly that I learned a lot about myself, like you said, but it was like realizing just how important soccer was and to never take any game for granted, like any practice, even any lift. Like there could be a time just like walking down my stairs and fall, and I took all that before for granted. And but I mean, I feel like we just have like play every game like it's your last and stuff, but it was definitely it 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 helped me realize just how important soccer was. So,
So, okay, when you look back now, because
yeah.
you're obviously your freshman year's over and you had a great academic, you did very well in school, which is the most important thing. But when you look back now on your freshman year, what'd you learn about the journey you went through, and was there anything you might have done differently when you look back on it now?
Mm, I don't really think I would do anything differently. I made sure to stay consistent in my workouts when I could work out. During winter, I stayed supportive to, like the other goalies and my team and helped out. And the only thing maybe I would have done differently in the academic aspect is maybe paid more attention, like figured out more like study habits in my freshman year, in my first semester, because it was definitely tough, like traveling and practices and games in your first semester of college. It was definitely tough, but I think that helped me progress for second semester. And it was tough, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
And Kay, how about for the team? Because I know you guys didn't have the greatest of seasons, in your first year, but as your team transitions to the Division 1 level, it may take 2 or 3 years before you guys start trending in the right direction. But how tough was it for you to really come in year one where your team really didn't have a lot of success at all? And the games that you played in were against the best teams in the league, but how tough was it for you to come in, your first year where a team was basically on a rebuilding, just making that transition?
It was pretty tough with the amount of shots that I got, but it always like what I always thought about was I want to help this team get to and progress. But I mean, I'm also adjusting to Division 1 level, obviously being a freshman my first year. But yeah, I think we're gonna make pretty big improvements. I mean, we're only second, going into our third year, possibly. Yeah, it's definitely tough, but yeah.
So, Kay, what would be some of the goals, you have for yourself coming into this season, both individually and then as far as team goals? What would be some of those you have set for yourself and for the team?
For myself, I would say just to be honest with my body. Like if my wrist really, really hurts, then to, communicate that. But yeah, for a team, I would say just like keep being positive and stuff like that. We really struggled with scoring this year, so I would definitely say like scoring more goals or just having more opportunities in the offense. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, Kay, obviously, I've talked to, young athletes like yourself, high school athletes, college, professional athletes, and I always like to ask the question is, for young athletes listening tonight or will listen on the replay when we finish up, what would be some of the advice you would give those athletes that are facing adversity, and whether it's an injury like you battled through, and whether it's self-doubt, whether it's pressure, and obviously at that level or any level, the pressure that young athletes face today and with the state of mental health today in sports, what advice would you give the young athletes?
I would just say to stay on your own path. You are your biggest like enemy in the head, and just to keep pushing yourself. Use your support system, I would say, is the most important thing. Um, with injury, I would definitely just look towards the future. Recovery is the most important thing. Just be patient. My mom was always telling me I just need to be patient and I'll be back in the net. But yeah, just keep encouraging yourself and don't be so hard on yourself. Um, you're doing what's best for you. You're pushing yourself, but never self-doubt yourself. Um, but yeah, that's
And
what I
Kay,
would say.
I think what's really cool is I think now that you come back and you have a year under your belt. I know you're doing a lot of youth stuff. You do some goalkeeper with training with young kids. How much does that mean to you? Here I am at 45 years old, and I feel like I like to give back. We want to give back, but what's that mean to you now that you're now coaching and mentoring, being a mentor to some of these young athletes, and now you're training?
It's honestly my favorite thing. I love it so much. I love just giving back to youth because obviously they're gonna be pursuing stuff, but I think it really helps like a lot with me mentally and stuff. And it's like I'm helping these younger athletes, and I think they really enjoy it too. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite. I love it so much. Just giving back and using all my knowledge that I've grown throughout all the years with all my amazing goalie coaches and just like projecting that onto younger athletes to hopefully help them, reach their goals and stuff. And I think it's really amazing.
Okay, what's something that people may not know about you off the field? We know you're a competitor on the field, but what's something that people may not know about you off the field?
Off the field, I'm not really sure. I mean, all I really do is like, I really enjoy spending my time working out. I mean, I've been getting in the gym a lot more. I've been going to the field and practicing my goal kicks and punts. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. It's a hard question.
I had to stump you a little bit. How about Dolphy Day? Tell us about Dolphy Day. How was it? I know I was always breaking your chops on it. I was there many years ago with Statman at Moyne, but how was Dolphy Day? Was it everything that people say it is?
Dolphy Day is pretty amazing. If you're choosing between Moyne and another school, make Dolphy Day the reason you come to Moyne. It's really fun. It's great. The teachers are they're pretty lenient, obviously, because it's Dolphy Day. Like you're not gonna have kids in class. It was just so fun, and the vibes of campus that day were, oh my God, it was really great to see everybody come together and just have fun. The food's pretty good, and just like, again, the atmosphere. It was a beautiful day too. It was like perfect weather. But yeah, Dolphy Day is definitely worth it. If you're coming to Moyne, be ready for Dolphy Day.
Okay, toughest course you took? Theology?
It'd have to be either theology or my psychology, brain, and behavior.
Psychology, brain, and behavior?
Yes.
Ooh.
I took that one during my first semester, and I'm pretty sure it was, hey, Maddie.
Want to say hi to Kay? Okay, she wants to say hi to you. Talk to her. Talk into the mic.
Damn. Hi, Maddie.
Hi.
Another number 33.
Yeah.
Future forward. Not a goalie. Kidding.
Tell her how you did tonight.
Did you win your game? Did you have a game?
Yeah, we had 2, but we lost both.
That's okay. You win some, you lose some. Did you score any goals?
Yeah.
Good.
Let's see. She wanted to say hi to you. They were just getting home, so I wanted her to jump on. So last question I got for you, Kane. I know what the answer is going to be here, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Biggest supporters for you through tough times, the good times. I know what your answer is going to be, but got to ask the question because we all go through tough times, and I think that's the fun part of me doing this show beyond the game is because there's more to life than just sports, right? There's different things that we face, and in your case, you faced a significant injury where you were fortunate enough to find a way to get through the season, and then you had to sit out, and now you're coming back better than ever. And through those times, you got to have people around you, a good support system. So who's that support system for you?
I mean, obviously my family. Do I have to pick one in specific?
No, you don't. I knew that was the answer. I knew that was the answer. It was an obvious question for me, but I think even when you get out of sports, you still got to have that support system because there's going to be tough days, good days. So I knew what the answer was going to be. So, but I figured I'd still ask you. So
yeah, I mean, I could point out my mom because she was my workout buddy when I had one arm to work out with. And she always annoyed me about just being patient through my injury. But yeah, everybody just was a great help and made me remind myself that I just need to be patient.
So off season, you're playing soccer now, right? You're playing some summer soccer. And then when do you have to report back to school? You guys start earlier this year?
July 27th.
Okay.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, it's 2 days earlier than last year, but the following year, it's going to be even earlier than July 27th.
Yeah, you said that'll be a lot earlier, right? I think it was 2 weeks earlier. You said something like that, right?
It's like mid-May or mid-June, July. Oh my goodness.
So
But
that'll be fast.
yeah, I
Well,
guess we'll see.
okay, I said I was gonna go a half hour with it. I'm looking at my timer. I was just a little over a half hour, so perfect timing.
Perfect
Glad we were
timing.
finally able to touch base and finally make this thing happen. So I appreciate it. And as you know, we're all proud of you.
Mhm.
And we look forward to I got to come because I got so much Lemoyne gear now. I got so many
I
shirts and
know.
stuff to wear. I got more Lemoyne gear than I got anything else. So we'll be dusting Lemoyne gear. Aunt Lindsay bought us new chairs, so we're ready to go come fall.
Cheers.
So yeah, I got
Ooh.
new chairs for the game. So we'll be ready. But we're proud of you. We love you, and I appreciate you jumping on.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, Kay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that was my niece, Mikayla McPheron, who jumped on with me here tonight. And I love talking to young athletes, and everybody has different things that they battle through. And hers was an injury that she found a way to finish the season off, and nobody really knew she had a broken wrist. I don't even think my sister and our family knew she broke it until the end of the season. But she found a way. Great support system. She's got a great family behind her, and I think that's what we all need is a great support system. And she had a great year, and I know she'll be on the bigger and better things in year two. So I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Thursday night, I'll post it. I'll be doing an interview talking RFA softball as they're fresh off a Section 3 title. Yesterday, I don't know who they're playing yet, but I believe they are playing Friday. I don't know if they're playing out in Buffalo or they're playing out in Binghamton. I've heard a couple different things, but I'll talk to Coach a little bit more about that. Sunday, the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch will air. We're going to shoot to air Sunday morning, but I'll confirm that later on with the guys. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. I want to thank my niece for jumping on with me tonight here on the Beyond the Game podcast. I always say here on the Rock Pile is where dreams become reality. Have a good evening, everybody.